Hey everybody, welcome to the ROFLcon panel for Life After the Meme, or the Washed Up panel. We had it all. Just going through the panel, I'm your moderator, I'm Christian Lander. I wrote Stuff White People Like, had a lot of fun doing that blog, and I am no longer famous. Moving on, we have Austin Hall, who did the Daft Hands video. Millions of you have seen it. And I think, is that a regular man over there?
No.
That's right, it's Chuck Testa. Who is still legitimately famous. Moving on, we have another internet celebrity. We have, well, we're going to go back and forth between Ben and Leeroy Jenkins.
Howdy all. I find it moderately awkward that I'm the only internet celebrity here that they didn't actually print the real name, despite that I just open that I'm Ben Schulz, but everyone knows me as Leeroy Jenkins. So, pleasure. And I'm no longer famous, apparently, so.
Sorry. And on the end, we have Kyle MacDonald of One Red Paperclip.
Hi.
So, I mean, what I want to do with this panel and the stories we want to tell here is sort of everybody's rise and then the consequences, or, you know, the good and the bad, and sort of the whole process through it. So if we could go down the line and just sort of give me a very short summary of sort of what happened after your thing started, sort of the rise of how it went from a thing that you just did to where it ended up. So we'll start with Austin.
Thanks. I'm Austin. So I guess Daft Hands was just a thing I put on the internet. I'm like, hey, I did this thing. I was really procrastinating for my history final, which I failed. So a C- equals internet success. That's my lesson. So it just put it on YouTube, and then I guess Dig, that was a thing, that picked it up. Sorry if Dig's here. And then, I don't know, then I went on Ellen and danced with Ellen and was in a music video with Weezer, and weird things that don't make sense to like a regular dude who's putting a video on the internet. So luckily, no one knows what my face looks like, so I got that going for some reason. That's good, right? Cool.
Awesome. Great. All right, Chuck, I think everyone here is dying to hear this story, how this all came about and sort of how it blew up so quickly.
Oh, well, I was on a reality show called Commercial Kings. So the whole episode of that was them making the commercial that was going to give me that I would never put on TV because I didn't have any money. But anyway, so the TV episode, TV episode aired in July of last year and was on IFC channel for a while, but it never went anywhere. So I really thought being on TV, you know, maybe people would see me or whatever, but nothing ever came of it. So my kid put it on the internet, on YouTube, and then all of a sudden, like a month later, all this chaos just starts. Like, the phone starts ringing, and it rang for like 7 months straight. I mean, time and time. People start coming by the house from all over the world. It's really, really crazy fun.
So it was just a month, and it just jumped about a month in?
About a month in, because the TV show was in July, and I think we put up the video in, what comes after July? August. So I think it was September or into August that it started. And I was like going, wow, maybe we'll get like 100 views or something. And no.
Can I ask what an average phone call is when people call in? What do they usually ask you?
Oh, no, they usually they either call and just hang up, or they'll
very productive, a very fruitful call.
Right, or they'll laugh, or they'll go say this or that, or then sometimes if they're getting really weird, I'll like answer it, and then when I answer, it's like, and then, you know, or the coolest,
like teenage girls calling a boy they like, right?
Well, that or guys or whatever, and or sometimes the coolest recovery was the guy goes, oh, sorry, wrong number. I go, that was a good one. Anyway.
That's great.
Or can you stuff my grandma or my hamster? You know, I mean, and then there's the gross ones. We won't talk about those.
Has business gone up though?
My taxidermy-wise, a lot of inquiry in my colleagues and just a lot of like that, but it's a seasonal thing and it's a different kind of business, so I won't know till this season, but I can't, it's not going to go backwards, I don't think. Yeah. And then the other part is all this other fun stuff I get to do, stuff I never even could have thought of a year ago.
That's great.
Like I'm sitting here, and it was 1 year ago today we shot that commercial. So it's somehow appropriate, you know, that it's like my anniversary.
Well, we're very glad you're here.
Thank you, me too.
Ben, can you tell us just the story of behind it, how it happened, how it got so big, so quick?
Kind of. As I've continued to roll with this, people always ask me exactly how it happened, and my eternal answer since that began is I like to let people decide for themselves. So after the big video got actually on warcraftmovies.com and then onto a very early YouTube, because if some of you might know, the video is 6 or 7 years old now, I don't exactly recall, it just started going crazy on YouTube. And we didn't really know what to do with it. We're a bunch of college kids. And eventually a internet company, the Global Gaming League, got in touch with me and just said, hey, we're going to BlizzCon, you want to come with us? Hell yeah, BlizzCon, I love Blizzard games. Went out there, then I got in touch with Blizzard a little bit. They flew me out to the second BlizzCon where I was announcing Warcraft tournaments, but I wasn't very good at it, unfortunately. And then, you know, I thought I was going to die out after that. I was like, oh, been about 2 years, I'm done. And then newspapers still called me up every once in a while. This is my third ROFLcon. I've been every year. Love ROFLcon. And yeah, just had a good time with it. But like I was saying earlier, no one comes to me because similarly, no one knows my face. But when someone is like, oh, I know Leeroy Jenkins. No, you don't. Yes, I do. So I get to walk up. Hey, it's my friend Ben. He's Leeroy Jenkins. I shake their hand, and everyone's always very calm. Oh, pleasure to meet you. Until then later, oh, my friend was so crazy. Like, I met Leeroy Jenkins. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome. What about you, Kyle? How did it go from idea to what it became?
I just had this idea to trade things with people, like bigger or better things. So I would start with a small object, trade it for something bigger or better. And it's called Bigger and Better, the game. Kids play it in the streets. It's a real thing. I was kind of too shy, and I didn't want to be one of those guys that was bothering people in the streets. So I put the paperclip, was the first object I started with, red paperclip, on Craigslist. And I started finding people to trade through Craigslist. And then eventually I formed a blog. And then eventually I called it One Red Paperclip and kind of made it a bit more easy to understand what I was doing. And I told a story of meeting each person, and the media just at one point, Boing Boing posted about it, and there must have been like the longest string of slow news days ever, because it became this like media feeding media thing. Like I would go on TV, and like I'm from Canada, I would go on CNN, and then the Canadian news would be like, and the American news reported it. And they would literally show on Canadian TV that I was on American news, and it just became this whole media storm. But all I really want to do is meet people and trade and tell stories. And it became like a choose your own adventure book. I'd get like 500 offers for each trade item, and then I'd decide who to trade with. And eventually made 14 trades in 1 year to the day, and wound up with a house in Saskatchewan, which is now one of those like famous things. When you drive across the country in Canada, there's the world's largest red paperclip in this town, and it's like a tourist attraction there. And I wound up with a house. It was awesome. We moved in. It was on Main Street. It looked like a cartoon house. And then all these random things started happening. Like, would you like to come to our investors conference and do a keynote speech? And I was like, sure, all right, free flight somewhere. Hey, you're a really good speaker. Would you like to do more of these? Like, sure, whatever, I don't know. And they started doing a lot of speaking. MasterCard had a bunch of end-of-the-year money they had to spend or they'd lose their budget. So I did a MasterCard commercial because apparently I'm really good at credit. I don't know.
You've undermined their model entirely.
Yeah, and it was fun. I love the idea of putting it out there to see who to trade with, like what's going to come along. I never knew. But then after the fact, all these other opportunities that I never could have predicted came along, and that's really the thrill of it.
Awesome. So another question. To any of you jump in and answer this. What was one of the biggest surprises you found on the way up? Like what sort of surprised you, or was that moment where you said, wow, what is happening right here? I can't believe that this is literally happening to me right now. Do any of you have a moment like that?
I couldn't believe that so many people had nothing else to talk about. I was like, wow, like really? Like that's, you have put that much, purpose in this thing? And then once I realized that, I was like, oh, well, people really don't have much going on. I leaned on it and like tried to amplify it. And it was kind of fun playing with all that. And I think you can go crazy trying to do that, but it was sure fun at the time.
Any of you other guys have just a wild moment? Chuck?
Yeah, people knocking on my front door. And they come in and they don't speak English. Oh, the nope guy, is he here? Or whatever. Yeah, that's me.
International celebrity. That's amazing.
Funny. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all an amazing story. It's incredible. You put something out there, it becomes very popular. You get all these people who are really happy to meet you. But on the other end, you encounter people who, for whatever reason, absolutely hate you. Commenters, other articles, people you meet in the street. Do any of you have experiences with people who hate you? Mine is, I had some stuff white people like. Someone wrote in an email to the site, and they said, "Dear asshole." Good way to start an email. Fantastic correspondence. I hope you go to jail and get raped and get AIDS and die slowly so you can watch your entire family die of cancer. Because I had the audacity to claim on the internet that white people like yoga and expensive sandwiches. So do you guys have any stories of just sort of encountering this in your travels?
Does death threats count?
Yeah, please.
Legitimate ones?
Yeah, I'd like to
I've
hear.
had somebody from some homegrown terrorist animal people trying to, threatening to kill me.
How? I need to know more about, how did they threaten, like?
Well, I started on the phone, and then at first I didn't really think much, but it started escalating. And then when like the cop called and said, "Are you getting death threats?" and the FBI is going to call you and all this stuff, then I go, wow, it's pretty trippy. They really want to kill me. So.
But they would just call you up and say,
"Oh, it's
I'm going to kill you, Chuck Testa."
No, worse. I can't use some of the language, but they were going to shoot me in my kneecaps, and while I'm on my knees, cut my head off, put it on a spike, and burn my house down, kill my children, stuff like that. And
Wow.
so then I went to this car show to support the Boy Scouts, so I got a little fed up, so I on my tip I said, "Hey, for all you guys trying to kill me, I'm going to be at the Ojai car show on April 1st between 8 and 5, so you can come and kill me there." And they didn't show up.
That's right.
We kind of guessed that. Austin, it seems like your video probably would have gotten you a few death threats as well. Do you have any experience?
I prefer this mic. Really, I don't know. The only things that really happen mostly are the worst jokes, like, "Oh, too much time in your hands," or just like annoying commenters who thought they were witty, who no longer were witty after seeing it hundreds of times. So people don't know my face, so don't see me in streets and go, "Your hands look familiar," you know. So I lucked out. I don't have to worry about hate until right now.
Oh, well.
Now I have like 30 new haters, I think.
Begin. Ben?
No, I didn't get any death threats or anything, so that was nice. But how many here have actually, played internet video games, particularly World of Warcraft? World of Warcraft can have a very hateful core to it. Like, there are a lot of small children who just love being angry at people. And my first BlizzCon, I was just announcing some giveaway for a laptop at a booth. I don't even remember what booth. And later on, people coming up, I'm signing autographs. I'm Leeroy Jenkins. I'm pretty much living at high when someone asked me to sign a brand new Alienware computer with Leeroy Jenkins all up the side, brand new, like $4,000 computer, and I'm signing on. I'm like, "Good luck, buddy, enjoy." But then after, like, someone gives me $1, which was really cool, just says, "I hope you earn more of these. You're awesome." And it's just a single $1 with his signing on it, and he just gives it to me. And I never really made money off Leeroy Jenkins, so that's $1 I made, so that's good. And but then the next guy comes up, and he's just livid. He is like, "I want to punch you in the face so hard right now." And he has his buddy standing next to him. And they're like, "You have ruined more dungeons for me than anyone ever." It's every time someone yells Leeroy Jenkins and we all die. And I don't remember exactly what I said to him, but it was along the lines of, "I would be sorry, but I cannot blame myself for the internet. And I still think it's really funny, so good luck."
It's great.
I guess the only real hate I got was there was a couple people that say, "You got a house for free," and all this, kind of just really misinformed. Like, I literally spent 18 hours a day for a year trying to pull this off and trade with people and do like a legit thing. But it was more just the debate around it. Like, people put weird value in things when you do something. Like, this is the pure essence of capitalism. I congratulate you. And then literally the next email would be, congratulations on the barter system. You're going to put capitalism out of business. And like just
Right after my MasterCard ad.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just all of these like people with their own ideas implanting them on what you've done, which is completely like generic, really. You've just done something. So I don't know. The Gawker hated me. Gawker was like, why we hate the red paperclip guy. But then they still reviewed like the book, and so whatever.
Gawker hates a lot of things.
Yeah.